Hey folks, IR3.IR2 is all about slopes. So the slope, I'm hoping we've seen this before. You may remember is rise over run. Technically it's the change in y over the change in x. So let's say they give you a nice little pretty picture like this. So you're just saying, well, how do I get from this dot to this dot? Usually we read from left to right, so kind of go from left to right. So if you're going from left to right, I like to picture like a little skateboarder or snowboarder. You see how it's going uphill? So if you're going from left to right, that would be uphill. So the first thing I notice is that my slope uphill is going to be positive. That's one thing to notice. And it's not too steep, right? If you're going from left to right, it's not that steep. It's not crazy. Okay, so how do I get from this point to this point? How much did I change in y? So this is my y. This direction is my x. Rise. How much did I rise? To get from here to here, I had to go up 2 over 1, 2, 3. 2/3. Okay, so that's my slope. No big deal. Let's add some more vocab. They like talking about the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Vocab, vocab, vocab. Okay, x-intercept. Fancy way of saying, hey, where do you cross the x-axis? X-axis. Here's my x-axis. I cross it right there at 3. Could you be more specific? Okay, 3, 0. Thank you. Okay, y-intercept. Where do you cross y? Here's my y. Oh, I cross it at -2. More specific, please. Fine. 0, -2. Better? Excellent. Okay, so let's say someone just quickly draws a slope like that. Is that positive or negative? See how it's going? If you do the little snowboard or skateboard, it's going downhill. So that is a negative slope. So it's always good to recognize if it's a positive slope or negative slope. And if you're keeping the idea of a snowboarder or skateboarder, if it's perfectly flat, then that means there's no slope. Slope is equal to 0. It's not positive or negative. It's not uphill or downhill. Slope is equal to 0. Now, if you're skateboarding or something and there's just a wall, or if you're trying to ski a wall, that's like impossible. So the slope there, is that uphill, is that downhill? I don't know. It's weird. So we would call that slope undefined. Okay. Let's see. Let's try some problems here. So I'm looking at IR3.IR2 on page 6. Page 6. They draw a pretty picture. Is the line increasing or decreasing? So if you look at the picture, it looks something like that. So it's decreasing, negative slope. So it's decreasing. Should the slope of this line be positive or negative? Negative, decreasing, downhill, negative. Use the graph to find the slope. Okay, so my picture is not very good, but there's a dot here, and then there's a dot down here somewhere. And I'm trying to figure out how to get from this dot to that dot. It's at -4. This one's at 5. -4. It's at a height of 1. This is at a height of -3. So the slope is the rise over the run. Okay, so it's up at 1, so I have to go down 1 and then another 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually going down, so it's -4. So when you have the graph paper, you can count it out a lot easier. And then the run, how do I get from this dot all the way to there? I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Aha! So again, when you're actually looking at the visual, you can use the graph paper that they have provided to count it a lot easier. So that's our slope. Write a sentence that interprets the slope. Okay. So we rise and we run. So how can we state that eloquently? I would say the value of y will, let's see, kind of going back, copying what they wrote. The value of y will change by 4 units down when x increases by 9 units. The value of y will change by 4 units down when x increases by 9 units. Okay, so if x increases, so here's my point. If my x increases, the value of y will change by 4 units down when x increases by 9 units. So if x increases 9 units, the y will go down by 4. Okay, that's not a very good sentence, but I'm just sort of copying what they had before. I think you can handle this. We've all dealt with slope before. Again, if you have any troubles, just email me, but I think this should get you going.